Hi, I'm Alina, and today I want to talk about a moment. Not a market crash, not a stock tip. A moment, a specific point in time when something quiet and boring suddenly becomes the most powerful force in your financial life. That moment is when compounding becomes unstoppable. Most people give up on investing right before this moment arrives. They wait 2 years, 3 years, see small numbers, and quit. And that's the tragedy, because the slow part is the price you pay to get to the fast part. So today, I'm going to show you exactly when that shift happens, why almost nobody waits for it, and what you can do right now to make sure you're still in the game when it does. Section 1. The illusion of slowness. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine you invest $200 a month into a simple index fund. Nothing exotic, just a fund that tracks the overall stock market, growing at an average of about 8% a year, which is close to the long-term historical average. In year 1, your account has about $2,500. In year 3, around $8,000. In year 5, close to $15,000. If you're being honest, that doesn't feel exciting. You've contributed $12,000 of your own money over 5 years, and you've only gained about $3,000 from growth. It feels like you're doing all the work, and the market is barely helping. This is the part where most people quit. They think, I could have just saved this in cash and felt the same. And mathematically, they're not wrong. Yet. But here's what they don't see. Compounding isn't a straight line. It's a curve, and for a long time, that curve looks almost flat, right before it doesn't. Section 2. The crossover point. Let's keep going with the same example. $200 a month, 8% average growth. But now, let's look further out. By year 10, the account is around $36,000. You've put in $24,000. Growth has added about $12,000. Better, but still feels slow. By year 20, the account is around $115,000. You've put in $48,000. Growth has now added $67,000, more than you contributed yourself. By year 30, the account is around $300,000. You've put in $72,000. Growth has added over $225,000. Do you see what just happened? Somewhere between year 15 and year 20, your money's own earnings started outweighing your contributions. That's the moment. That's the crossover point, when the market starts doing more of the work than you are. Before that point, you are the engine. After that point, your money becomes the engine, and you're just along for the ride. Most people never see this part because they stop adding money or stop investing altogether during the slow, flat-looking years before it. They sell at year 4 instead of holding to year 14. Section 3. Why this feels counterintuitive. Here's something important to understand about how our brains work. We're wired to expect linear progress. If you work out for a month, you expect to look a little different. If you study for a week, you expect to know more. We expect cause and effect to show up quickly, in proportion to our effort. But compounding doesn't work in proportion to your effort. It works in proportion to time. And for a long time, time looks like it's doing nothing. Think of it like heating a pot of water. For the first several minutes, nothing visible happens. The temperature is rising, but you can't see it. Then suddenly, it boils. The energy was building the entire time. It just wasn't visible until it crossed a threshold. Your portfolio is doing the same thing in those early years. The growth is happening, quietly, invisibly, long before it becomes obvious in the numbers. This is why patience isn't just a nice personality trait for investors. It's the actual mechanism. It's not optional. Without time, the math simply cannot work. Section 4. What makes it unstoppable? So what actually makes compounding unstoppable once it gets going? It's this. Once your account is large enough, the growth in a single year can become larger than your entire yearly contribution. Let's go back to our example at year 25. The account is around $190,000. At 8% growth, that year alone adds about $15,000 in gains, more than your entire $2,400 a year contribution. The money is now growing faster from its own size than from your monthly deposits. By year 30, that same 8% growth on a $300,000 account adds over $24,000 in a single year. That's 10 times what you're contributing annually. This is the unstoppable phase. Not because the market guarantees anything. It doesn't, and there will be years of decline along the way. But because the base is now big enough that growth dwarfs your contribution. At this stage, even if you stopped adding money entirely, the account would likely keep growing simply because of its size and time in the market. This is also why starting early matters so much more than people realize. Someone who starts at 25 isn't just investing for longer than someone who starts at 35. They're giving their money a decade-long head start on reaching that crossover point. Section 5. What this means for you. So what do you actually do with this information? First, expect the early years to feel unrewarding. That's not a sign you're doing something wrong. That's the entry fee. Second, automate your contributions so you're not relying on motivation during the flat years. The slow part is exactly when people stop, and it's exactly when you can't afford to. Third, protect your time in the market more than you try to time the market. Every year you stay invested is a year closer to your personal crossover point, the moment your money starts working harder than you do. And finally, remember that this isn't about getting rich quickly. It's about being patient long enough that the math finally gets to do its job. The slow years aren't a sign that compounding isn't working. They're proof that it hasn't had enough time yet. Stay consistent, stay invested, and let time do what it's designed to do. If this helped you see compounding differently, subscribe to Alina Invest. Every week, we break down one idea like this to help you build real, lasting wealth. I'll see you in the next one.